gosh, it's happening. Hello, it's me, your beautiful. I didn't mean to do that. It's me, your beautiful disembodied voice. What's this? I'm actually, my face is on the string. I haven't seen that in a while. Anyway, yeah, hey, so, it's Tutorial Tuesday. This is a series that I would like to start, for it to be a thing. Um, I can't stream it on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously right now. So I'm a little sad about that. But when I figure it out, I will start doing it. But for now, it's just going to be on YouTube. And yeah, because I wasn't going to save the VOD from Twitch anyway. So, because copyright. Um, but with YouTube, it's a little bit nicer. They'll let you do it, but then you don't get any money from it. Not that I'm making money anyway. I do this all for the love of the art. So as you can see today, I have with me my beautiful cello, in all of his magnificent glory. Hopefully I'm not too loud and I will not disturb my neighbors. However, I have my mute on. I have my heavy mute on. The only thing you really need to see for this tutorial is basically my left hand. Okay. Um, I yeah, it's weird because like my brain is like, am I doing the mirror thing or what's going on here? But my left hand is actually on the left side of the screen, and that makes me feel a little bit better, but also confused. Anyway, don't worry about it. Today, um, hashtag sponsored ad, but not really sponsored. Um, because I didn't get any money for this. All I did was like make an affiliate link. But I was just like, you know what? I really like this service. I've been using Tomplay for like 3 years, and I think it's fantastic. I love it. And so that's basically what Tutorial Tuesdays is going to be all about. It's going to be about learning stuff. I guess let's get into it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right. So here is the, whoops. I knew I forgot something. Anyway, go away. Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. All right. Here is the interface thingy thing, majig. And this is what your screen will look like when you log in. Oh, also, I have a link for it. So let me put that in the chat real quick and pin it because it helps the channel. And helping the channel is good. It's good. It's very good. I promise you it is fantastic. You get it? Or Fantastique, rather. Anyway, here's the link. No, that's not it. Dag nammit. There it is. Hold on. Let me see. Sorry, I should have had this set up already, but it's okay. Wait, is it live or am I crazy? I feel like it's live, but I don't really actually know. Copy. Paste. Send. And pin. Excellent. Is this actually live? Okay, good, it's live. All right, so yes, there it is for all of your viewing pleasure and clicking stuffs and things. Anyway, this is the song we're going to be learning to play. So let's go ahead and click on it. You, dear viewer, might want to use the cello and piano if you are not good at sight reading, because they let you pick from a lot of audio tracks. In this particular one, you know, we're just gonna be going through it the way kind of I would go through it. So, um, yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going the way through it the way I would go through it. I personally, first thing I like to do is I like to change it from cello and piano to just piano. If you leave the cello on, or the instrument on, because they have a lot this song for a lot of different instruments, so like flute, guitar, saxophone, all of that wonderful stuff. So they have all that kind of stuff. But for piano, for me, because I could sight read this, I'm about to eat my words, aren't I? Oh Jesus. Anyway, yeah. So I could sight read this, so I don't really necessarily need the cello part to play along with me. But some people might find it more fun to have the instrument and the accompaniment, or the melody and the accompaniment to play together. Um, but for my purposes, I don't really need it. So, that's the first thing I like to do is change the little audio setting right here. Second thing I like to do is I like to, slow it down a little bit. I probably don't need to do this, but I usually take whatever it is and then subtract 20. And if it's still too fast, then I put it at whatever the original was and then put it to 50%. And then, I promise this is not entirely like talking about time play, but I would like for you to know what I'm doing just in case you want to do it yourself. And if you click this, it'll go back. But usually I like to start around 60 because I'm whatever the regular tempo is minus 20 so I can get a feel for it. So let's go ahead and start learning what this piece is all about. Okay. Now, normally, I would say we can just listen to it, I guess. That would be a good idea. Um but let's pretend that you don't really have that luxury. Like if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it on your own time. Okay? That's why you click the links. Click the links. Or the one that I sent, not just any old link. All right? So you don't have time sometime, and I think it's good to kind of be able to not play by ear all of the time. So it's good if you can play by ear, but also if you can't play by ear, you know, like if you can play by ear already, it's good to know how to actually like, break down music. So let's look at this. We're gonna just kind of scroll through. Oh, we got dotted quarter notes, we got eighth notes, we got quarter notes, we got a triplet little thing here. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh, we got little grace notes, we got a 16th note, dotted eighth note. Just kind of looking through, kind of seeing what little problems might be here. Um, yeah, the rhythms don't look super like difficult or confusing. Again, I'm probably about to eat my words because I'm a terrible sight reader and I always have been. But yeah. Oh, look, we've got we've got a lot of ledger lines going on. So we've got this right here. Conveniently, we have a fingering. I may or may not do that. Um, depending on my mood today. Actually, no, I'm gonna follow the fingerings, and if they suck, I will tell you they suck and do something completely different. Um, or I'll try my best to follow the fingerings. Um, so yeah, this is not really like a beginner piece. It's just because it's gonna require a lot of shifting. So this right here, this note is not in first position. You're gonna have to either play in first, second, third, fourth position, or you're gonna have to play in second, third, or fourth position in order to play that note. Preferably fourth position because you got an F sharp right after. Oh, and I bet you noticed what key we were in. We're in D major. So it is kind of a beginner friendly key, but not really beginner friendly notes. If you really, really want to play it though, I will be talking about some ways to kind of make it a little bit easier. Okay, then we've got rest going on. Ooh, we have an A sharp here. A sharp is the same as B flat. So if you ever get confused by enharmonics, just kind of stop, take a minute, look at your cello, put your finger on A, and then because you should know that between each of your fingers, like one and two, two and three and four is a half step. You should know that at this if you're gonna try and like actually play this. All right. So A sharp, it's a half step up from regular A, so you're going to be playing it with 2, or in this case, you're going to be shifted in like that awkward half position, 1 point position 1.5. um, so yeah, there's that. Um, let's see. Ooh, look at this. Look at this cute little figure. We got like a little chromatics going on here. Got a cute little chromatic scale going on, but don't worry, it's not difficult. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just in order. It's just in order. So no worries, no worries. And then yeah, it doesn't look like anything will be super problematic. I would say in this case, maybe page 4, maybe page 4, kind of feeling page 4 has a little bit of like interesting stuff. And then maybe, let's see, I would say maybe page 2. This page and this page have kind of tricky stuff, right? Because you got the shifting, right? The extensions, the grace notes. Like, we want to pick stuff that's got the problems in it, right? The quote unquote problems. So, um, because, right, you don't want to spend all day just practicing like right here with it, right? Like, a lot of this is just kind of very easy, right? Um, Pretty much in first position. If you want, you don't have to play it in first position, but it's pretty much in first position. I'm gonna play it in the easiest way possible, so that way I can give you the simplest, easiest fingerings. Um, but this page I think has a lot of the stuff that might be a little bit tricky, and then this page also has its own little deal going on. This page, page 3, also has tricky stuff, but it's similar tricky stuff to page 2, and I think page 2 has more tricky stuff. So let's go ahead and look at it. I'm going to be starting at measure 9. Oh, by the way, we have a metronome. That's nice, right? But I don't really like the way it does it. Where I like the high, I like the downbeat to be the high pitched one. So let me see if there's actually a setting to change that. Let's see. Count off. Nope, there's no setting to change that. Tom play. If you're listening, add that. I need it. I need that feature to be added like yesterday to change the majiggy thing, so that way I can make it not be the low note. All right. Anyway, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay. That's gonna mess me up, but normally that's kind of what you would want to do, right? Turn on the metronome. Dang it! I knew I was gonna do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 ba, ba. Okay, actually, use your own metronome, because that metronome is gonna mess me up. So I'm gonna just kind of do it by myself. But normally when you practice, you should use a metronome so you can get the rhythm right. So. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Uh. Also, you should tune first. Hold on, let me tune. And I highly recommend you tune if you're using tom play. The reason, because you're not going to be in tune with the piano if you don't. Okay, so I botched that, as I knew I would, because obviously. Anyway, let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, and. So that was basically the entire thing, the entire page, right? So let's break it down some, okay? So starting at measure 9, we have our very first shift, not of the piece, but the very first shift that we're going to be dealing with in this tutorial, right? So they want you to play 1, right? Now, here the thing is, I'm kind of thinking this slur is a little bit ambiguous because it's like the tie should also include the slur. I mean, the slur should also include the tie because otherwise it's just like, what do you want me to do? But they were very nice and they gave us a little down bow marking. So from measure 9, let's just go ahead and I'm gonna switch it back to me. To me. Hello. So for measure 9, we should try to play it more like this, right? So when you're shifting, you want to kind of make sure you're going exactly where your fourth finger would be, right? We're playing our standard first position, right? I'm too used to playing on my electric. My electric is smaller. Anyway, right? So we got first, first, second, third, fourth. We're not going to use second a whole bunch, but you know, just so you know. So we want to go 1, 3, prepare to shift 1 to where 4 would be, right? So you kind of, I like to kind of scrunch up my hand a little bit. I don't know if that's a thing that everybody does. Right? And then we have another technique called an extension. So what you want to do is you want to make a big old space. About the space, like the space, pretend like you didn't have your second finger, right? So you'd basically be doing this. I know that looks kind of silly, but don't worry about it. This is for educational purposes. So you want to make the same amount of space as if your middle finger was missing, okay? So make a big, nice, big space, all right? And then you will be able to play very easily that fourth finger F sharp, okay? So let's go back to the majiggy thing, right? Oh, no, stop it. So we're going 1, 1, 3, 1, and then we're gonna go 4, right? That's what that little X is for, to remind you to extend, right? And then from 4, as you can see, it's going down in kind of just a little straight line. 4, 2, 1, right? Right? And then you want to shift back into first position for the C sharp in measure 10. It's got a little 3 on it to help you, right? So you're like, then we're going to shift into fourth position. So your first finger should be on the E, okay? So let me show you what that's going to look like. Okay? So the way I kind of always try to find fourth position is by kind of letting my hand touch the cello a little bit. You can see, like, I still have a nice little space in my hand. Like, I'm not scrunching my hand up. Like, I'm kind of, I guess, I'm not hitting my fingers. So when my hand hits basically right here on my cello, I don't know if this works for everybody, but it works for me really well. I know that I'm in position. Right? And it's not like a hard smack. It's just kind of like a touch, just to kind of know where you are. So, Lord, I can't remember his name, but he said something about using touch to know where you are on the cello rather than just kind of thinking of trying to memorize everywhere where you are, because a lot of the times you don't really touch your cello, like you're just kind of generally touching it on the thumb and with your fingers. But like when you get into higher positions, it's a lot easier to get lost, as I found out today when I was trying to learn another song. So what you would like to do, it's a very good idea. Okay, you don't have to, but a very good idea is to kind of memorize where your E is by touch. So the way to actually kind of find it if you've never played fourth position before, is you can just kind of touch, like just a very light touch, just enough so you can feel the string on your finger, and look for that harmonic. It should sound really nice and clear, not like this, right? It should sound like a nice E. All right. And once you find that harmonic, you could just put your finger down and you're like, ah, okay. Then notice where your hand is touching your cello. Notice where your arms are. Lord, I can't remember his name. That was such a good idea. And it helped me a lot. Notice where your hand is, where your elbow is. And that's how you know when you can shift, right? Know where to shift to, right? All right. Which brings us to the next part, right? The next part. Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized something. Am I not appearing on this thing? Hold on. Boop. There you go. Hey, I'm right there. I meant to do that before, but I didn't. I apologize profusely. So, yeah, we're looking at measure 11 right now. The one with the, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's the one that starts with the quarter note on the top line. Okay, so we're right here, first position with 4. Then you want to shift to your E. Then you want to shift up again and just touch the A harmonic, right? So this is the same kind of thing, right? We're going to find it, but instead of listening for E, we're listening for A. We're reaching much higher up. Now, the thing about this particular harmonic is that it's actually like right in the middle of the fingerboard. So what I want you to do, okay, what I want you to do with regards to the harmonic A, which is in the space 3 ledger lines above the staff, just kind of make this shape. So pretend my thumb is my cello, right? You're just gonna reach for it, right? You're just gonna reach for it. I don't know what it's, so yeah, this kind of shape. So you're using your thumb as kind of like an anchor so you can get back, right? So you can get back and you just reach for it, you touch it. Well, you don't have to reach that far, but if your hands are small, then you have to reach, but so you just want to reach, just a nice little reach, just touch it. You're not pushing. Pushing will probably not end well if you're not super familiar with it. So just touch. Remember like how we just touch, just enough so you can feel the string under your finger, right? If you touch too light, then you won't. I guess if you touch too light, then like you just won't. I don't know what happens if you touch too light. I don't think you can, because the point is just that your finger has to be able to stop the vibration of the string and create like a little node, basically like a. I'm not gonna get into physics of it, but it's really fascinating. But basically, you just have to stop the vibration of the string where your finger is. So just a little touch. If you press down, it's gonna be out of tune and probably sound bad. So anyway, that's that. We shift up very lightly, touch the A. And then we shift back, not to first position. We switch back to third position. So our second finger is going on the D, right? Right? So we're gonna go. And we're gonna shift back to 1. Now, this little grace note right here, this is a problem. This is a whole problem, isn't it? That's a whole problem, isn't it? Let's talk about it. So the way that they have it is they want you to shift back, but then you have to also shift up in order to play the grace note, right? Oh. Wait, let me shift back to the music because I can't see the music without the without the thing. All right, so we have 1. We're on measure 12. You have to shift back to 2 in order to play it because that's D, right? Where previously our second finger was. And then you're just kind of already in position. You can shift back if you want to. Don't recommend that until you're ready to play the E. So you see that low E in measure 12, the on the fourth beat, right? So you play your grace note. Okay, so that's the way I would do it. Some people might be more comfortable shifting from the D back to the C sharp. So I'll show you the way I do it. So the way I do it is like this. Measure 12. So you notice I don't shift back until I have to play the low notes, right? Some people might be more comfortable with. So you play the grace note, the D, and then, well, you don't. So you play the grace note, the D, then you play C sharp, you shift back in the first position right on the C sharp, which you can do, and it'll sound just as well, just as nice. Just do whatever is more comfortable for you. So yeah. And now we're gonna go back. Let's see, is there anything else that I think in the top line? No, so I guess let's just go ahead and put it all together. So I'm gonna show you a nice little feature. You see that pink line that just popped up on the screen? That's called a playback line. Playback line. And what that is going to do is it's going to make the music, it's going to tell the program where to start the music. So let me make sure I have the desktop audio on, or else it's going to sound really silly. And I'm actually going to make it a little bit loud. So I'm going to try and put them at the same volume. All right. So yeah, it's going to give us a little count off, and then it's going to start the music, and then we're going to play. So okay. So I don't know how loud that was. I did not balance it. I apologize. Hold on. Okay, it's fine. That was actually me playing like semi-loud. So if that didn't blow out the speaker, then nothing will. Anyway, so yeah, that's the whole first line. It's really nice, right? And then going back to measure 13 is basically the theme of the theme that was presented to us in the beginning at the very first, well, I guess technically it started in like the third measure, so don't worry about it. So yeah, all of this is really simple, already in the first position and everything. You don't have to worry about it. So we're just gonna go through it really quickly, right? We're just playing on the D string, right? Open D. Now, you notice that is a very long slur. I will tell you, you can do the whole slur. Do you have to? No, you don't have to. The thing is that they want it to sound like one whole connected line, right? So you can break it if you want to. So right? So you can break it up however you want to, as long as you make it sound nice and legato and smooth. They don't want you to do this. They don't want you to do that. They want it nice and beautiful. It's a singy song, right? It's a singy kind of song. Now as far as the triplets go, you can just play them like right there on the A string. I think, because normally, people say they don't want you to play on the A string, but honestly, why not in this case? Because if you don't do it on the A string, it'll be a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not saying it'll be bad. I'm saying it'll be uncomfortable. So I personally, no, I don't like that either. No, it sounds weird. So I think if your A string is a little strident, mine's is okay. If your A string is a little strident and a little bit whiny, you can kind of cheat, right? You can play the A open, but don't hold it with your, but don't like play the full value with your bow, just enough to kind of like, and let it ring out for the rest of the note. Because that's kind of what I do. It's a little bit cheaty, but it works. It's really nice if you have that kind of bow control and you don't want to play the open A string. That's one thing you can do. It's just kind of like, and let it ring for the rest of the duration. You don't have to play the whole quarter note as your open A. And then continuing in measure 14, the last eighth note of measure 14. Now, about grace notes, I like to play them a little bit slow because I want to I want to, how you say, I don't want them to sound like mistakes. So I kind of usually am a little bit more deliberate. Um but you can play them kind of as fast as you want. So right, you can play, but don't play them so slow that you lose your time, right? Um it's kind of all about, like, you still got to keep tempo with the piano. You can't just drop beats, right? I mean, you can if you're good like that, but like, don't. um so it's up to you how fast to play the grace notes. It depends also a little bit on your dexterity. Like, some people have a lot of dexterity, some people have a little dexterity. It's all part of your musicality, right? So whatever you're feeling, do it, but also be aware that you still have to kind of keep time. Okay, so yeah, that was pretty much the tutorial for that one. Let's go ahead and look at page number 3. Oh my God, we're finally getting to play the third page. Wow. Um, so we got some interesting stuff going on here. So let's look at it. We've got an A sharp, also known as a B flat. The reason why they don't write it as a B flat is because, is because there's a B right next to it, and also visually it makes a lot more sense because the line, as you can see, is going up. It starts from A sharp to B to C sharp, right? So it makes a lot more sense visually to kind of have that stepwise motion. And then if you want to go on to the next measure, it also goes up to D. But it makes more sense visually for it to have that stepwise motion. So A sharp, also the same as B flat, but not. Could have a whole debate about that, but I'm not going to. Anyway, da 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 da. Then we have measure 28, which is the last measure at the top of the line. D, C sharp, D. And then we have this nice little extension. So the reason why there's an extension for the last 3/8 notes of 28 instead of the last 3, and not an extension for the last 3 notes of measure 27 is very simple. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's just look at it for a minute. Let's look at it for a minute. What do our hands look like, right? So if we're playing our first finger on B flat, A sharp, right? Right? So we take our first finger, take our second finger, take our first finger, move it to where our second finger was, right? And we're right there. So we shifted instead of extending, because extending here would be kind of weird, right? You don't necessarily, your pinky is short. It's short and it's weak, okay? It's your weakest finger. So extending with just your pinky feels awkward. You can do it for sure, but it feels awkward, and sometimes you might not be able to get a very stable sound, right? Because if you don't press enough on the note, you get a really gritty kind of like chewy sound. Not chewy, but like a kind of sound, right? And you don't want that. You're a cello, right? Cellos don't make gritty sounds. Cellos make nice, rich, beautiful sound, right? Um, so yeah, the reason is because the reason we shift. I mean, the reason we don't have the extensions is because we shift here just a little bit. We're in that weird half position, right? Position 1.5. So, you know, we're already right there. But in the measure 28, when we have E, F sharp, G sharp, right? You notice how we're not extending, right? So all of these are also, another reason is because all of these are whole notes, right? Between B flat and B, we have a half step. So we can just kind of already be in position for that. And then between B natural and C sharp, it's a whole step, but we're already there, right? But this is all whole steps, right? Right? So we have to make sure we have enough space. Normally, when we're playing, we have our open string in order to compensate for that extra whole step that we have, right? But this time we don't have that. So we have to make that extra whole step with our hand. Remember, gotta extend just enough so that way you cover the space that your second finger would take up if you lost it, or you know what I mean. Nice big space, right? Okay, so you're gonna go back to the music and let's go ahead and play those two measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And this is, we're going back into the thing. I said two measures, I lied. Yeah, so let me actually play what I said I was gonna play. 1, 2, which is measures 27 and 28. 1, 2, ready, play, rest. All right. So notice I was using the open strings a lot. You don't have to. It's just easier. And I said I was going to show you the fingerings that were a little bit easier and a little bit more convenient. Like I said, this stuff is not necessarily for beginners, but I think that if it's a little bit easier to play, everybody's happy, right? So, yeah. And again, if you want to practice a little bit more difficult fingerings, you are more than welcome to click the link, right? And help out the channel, right? All right? And get your free 14-day trial of Tomplay. Anyway, so let's continue learning this piece using Tomplay. I think you could also just learn it by yourself. I think there might be a file on IMSLP or on Virtual Sheet Music. Two others I'm not affiliated with, but they also have great resources for beginning musicians and expert musicians. IMSLP obviously more catered to the experienced musician. Okay, so measure 29. We're gonna stay in extended position, okay? Because we have the G sharp repeated, right? So we play and measure on beat 3, measure 28. And then we just have it right there, right? Now this wobbly thing I'm doing with my hands is called vibrato. Don't worry about it. I can't not do it. I've been doing it too long. If you know how to do it, definitely do it. If you don't worry about it. You still sound great. Um, so, um, so we're going to want to kind of keep it. So here's the weird thing. You can do measure 29 in two ways, right? You can keep your G sharp with your fourth finger, open string, and for the C sharp, you can play either 2 or 3. So you can keep your extension. Hold on. You can keep your extension for the C sharp, and play C sharp with 2, or you can scrunch your hand back up and play it with 3 and go back into regular first position. If you are a beginner and you're not really super, tight with your hands, right? I would recommend that you play the C sharp with your second finger. And the reason I would recommend that is because you're already extended, because you're going to have to go right back to being extended. Okay. So if you're not really used to that spacing yet, just go with 2. If you are used to that spacing, you could scrunch your finger back up to go with 3, because maybe you're more comfortable with 3, or your vibrato is better on 3, or what have you. I am probably going to use 3 just because it's more comfortable for me, and I already can extend and do all of that. Also, my hands are tiny, so I get to not extend if I don't want to. Anyway, so playing 4 open, 2 or 3. I'm going to use 2 this time. And 1 is going to be the same for that B natural right there. It's going to be the same for if you're using 3 or 2 on the C sharp. So 1 on B. And then you're just going to go down, but you're going to be extended. So you're going to play your open A. Make sure you have your extension ready for the G sharp. Sorry, I wasn't ready. See, that's what happens when you're not ready. So you play your A. All right. Now it should sound kind of like Jaws, right? Right, something like that. It's better if you use your fingers, but if you just want to do it with the open string, it works just as well. Anyway, right, you have your open A, you have your G sharp. Now, normally what you'd want to do is you'd want to shift back, and I would not fault you for that. I would say that you could use 4/4 if you want to, but I am going to warn you that it's a little bit awkward to shift from a finger to a finger, particularly the fourth finger, but also that you might get one of those not super great glisses, and that it might not sound clean. So you can absolutely use it. You can do that. If you want to use 4/4, just make sure make sure that you still have the chromatics sounding clean and that you shift far enough back. Because what usually happens is that you're going to shift not far enough, and you're going to be on, right? And you're just not going to be in tune for the rest of that. So make sure you shift far enough back, right? Right? But if you want to do it the easy way, no shifting necessary. Keep your extension, right? Keep your extension. And then just do 4, 3, 2. And then when you get to that E right there, then you can get out of your extension and just play it in normal first position. Okay? So, the easy way, just do it the chromatic with your fingers in order. Okay? So let's look at that. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. All right. So you're extended, right? You play your open A. Then you're playing G sharp with your fourth finger. I'm showing you the easy way. If you understand how to do the hard way, do it. Don't care. But this is the easier way. So you start with fourth finger, third finger, second finger. Right. Usually we're used to going 4/3 or 4/2. No, you're using all 3. 1, 3, 2, right? and 1 when you play the E. Now, when you get to the E, you're going to scrunch your hand back up again and play in first position without the extension, okay? So you're going to go from this, ba, 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 and then first finger, ba, and then just scrunch it back. Really easy, right? And then you just play the notes. Now, the thing is, in measure 31, the high C sharp, be kind of careful with this jump from C sharp to B natural on the G string, C sharp on the A string, B natural on the G string. Be careful there, because if you're not careful, what's going to happen is you're going to do this. Okay? You're going to do that. You're going to do the, and you're going to make it a chord, which is, it's a cool chord. Don't get me, it's a cool chord. Not the chord we're going for, especially since we have already the piano making the chords for us, right? So, you know, just make sure that you got your string crossings really nice. I will tell you 2 things. I will tell you how to do it properly, and I'll tell you a shortcut. What I used to do before I became decent, I'm not gonna say good, decent at string crossings, was that I played the first note really short. Not really short, but I played it a little bit short so I would have time to move back. So instead of 1, 2, and, oh, sorry, 1, 2, and. Instead of doing that, I would play 1, 2. So the thing is, you have to make sure that you hit the C sharp really nicely for that, and that's kind of the only thing. And that you don't miss the B natural, because if you miss the B, if you cut the C sharp short and still miss the B natural, don't do that, right? Now, the actual way to do it is by knowing how to do string crossings. So how do we do string crossings? Surely it's like this, right? Because when you do your wrist like this, the bow moves on the string. No. Very common misconception. You do not get enough space when you do this, okay? The thing is, when you do it with your wrist, it does, on cello, it doesn't really work out that well, because you will always end up hitting your other strings, right? Because you're not going to be, you don't have enough range in your wrist, right? So what you do is you use your elbow, right? I want to show my elbow. Don't look at it. What you want to do is you want to use your elbow. So like kind of like a chicken wing, right? Wing, right? So you want to go from here and then just drop your elbow. So you'll be able to, you have enough range to move it kind of quickly, right? And that's kind of a big overview of how to do it. How to do it correctly. Obviously, you should, if you have a teacher, you should talk to them, or you can get lessons from me. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll just do another video, because I don't know. I have a lot going on right now, guys. So maybe I won't have time to do that. But let me know if you would like a string crossing tutorial, fully in depth, all of the bells, all of the whistles, all of the secrets nobody wants you to know about string crossings. So just, you know, make a comment, leave a like or something. Well, I won't know if you leave a like, so just leave a comment or something. Also, yeah, I could do other tutorials too. Anyway, so then we have, and then we have to go right back to the A string, but it's okay because it's open A, right? The only thing I will say about most of these passages is be careful for when you have a jump versus when you have a step. Now, what's jump? A jump is when you go from a line to a line, or a space to a space. Or actually, no. there's a step, a skip, and a jump. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. I got my terminology confused. So a step is basically when you go from a line to a space or a space to a line. That's a step. Okay, and they have to be like right next to each other. All right, you can't be going from like E to A, from E on the D string to A to your open A string. That's not a step, right? Even though it's space to a line, that's jump. Now, step is a space to a line adjacent, or a space or a line to a space adjacent. Now, a skip is a line to a line or a space to a space, right? They are basically the next line up or down, or the next space up or down, right? It's a little bit difficult to illustrate without my, you know, technologically, because all I have is the tom play right now. So sorry. um, so that's basically the space from like your first finger on any string to your fourth finger on any string. So that kind of distance, or your open string, any open string to your third finger or second finger, depending on how it's spelled. But don't worry about it. So yeah, and then we have jumps, which are bigger than steps, but I mean, which are bigger than skips, right? So basically, going from your open string to another open string, that's would be considered a jump. So you got your skips, your jumps. Just kind of be aware of that, because it can be really easy to just kind of play everything stepwise. So like for instance, in measure 32, it'd be really easy to play open A, but there's no open A there, right? So it could be really easy, and then you'll just end up adding an eighth note and be like, huh, what did I do wrong? So just be watching for that. Then at the very end, measure 32, we've got another extension so we can play the C sharp. Okay, I would not necessarily recommend shifting for it unless you're going to play closed. You're gonna close the open D string. So basically, if you're gonna do something like this, right? So you go, instead of going, if you're not gonna do that, then I would recommend doing or you can do, if you don't want to shift, right? So if you're gonna play open D, do the extension, because if you don't, you're gonna be sad. Because it's gonna be kind of easy to get lost if you are kind of like just kind of shifting around in kind of the same general position for easy notes, right? Be lazy. Be lazy, right? Don't, how do you say? Don't, just because you can shift for every note doesn't mean you should. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Just because you can shift doesn't mean you should. Sometimes it's okay to just kind of be in position and just kind of be lazy. You don't have to expend a ton of effort to sound good. You do have to spend a ton of effort to sound amazing, but that doesn't really necessarily involve shifting every other beat, right? So, you know, just try to conserve your energy. If you make a good sound without shifting, then don't worry about it. Just, you know, just do the thing. All right, let's play through the whole thing. I'm gonna skip over the first two measures because they are rests, and then we're gonna go and look at all the other pages and see what's going on there. So all right. So yeah, we're gonna look at the other pages and see if there's anything else confusing in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and it's 3 o'clock. Then I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you, and we'll see that. So since we're on page 5, let's look at it. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly weird here. At the end, that does look like your A string D, right? It looks like this note, right? It looks like that. It's not that. When you see the 0 and 3, you know that you have to play it as a harmonic. So this is the same harmonic as where that open A was. I mean, as where that harmonic A was. Remember this one that was in the middle of the fingerboard? It's the same one, but on the D string instead of the A string. So, right? You can find that same harmonic on, well, that same location on your fingerboard is a harmonic for each of your strings. So wherever you find a harmonic, you could find it on any of your other strings in the same area. So that's what that one is. That one's your D string harmonic. So remember what we want to do, right? We want to use our thumb as kind of like a little hook. Gently reach out, gently touch just enough so you feel the string on your on the pad of your finger, right? It's just gentle, just gentle. You can use 2 or 3. I sometimes use 2 or 3. They're interchangeable for me. So you can use 3 because 3 is technically like a little bit easier because it's farther down your hand, right? So use your thumb, kind of brace yourself, reach 2, reach 3, doesn't matter. So yeah, that's the very last note of the piece. Let's look at some of the other stuff. This is very similar to, actually, I think it's exactly the same to what we did in number 2, right? And number 1 and page 1 and page 2, right? Or page 3 and page 2. I'm not sure. I forget. So yeah, there's nothing particularly different here on page 3, right? We already seen a lot of this. We already have done a lot of this. Yeah, and all the rest of this is fairly basic. So I guess once you finally, go through the piece, kind of pick out your problem areas, think about, your stuff, you can go ahead and, try to play it and go through it with the accompaniment. And I think that's one of the best things about tom play is the accompaniment. Because if you just play it by yourself, sometimes it can get a little lonely or a little bit boring, and you just don't have like the context. You know what I mean? So it's really nice to hear the music around the melody that you're playing, right? Because a lot of music nowadays does not really exist in a vacuum, right? So there's harmony and other rhythms going on, just stuff. It just kind of makes it a little bit more rich. So I might have turned the audio a little bit loud for me, so I'm gonna turn it down for me, but I'm not gonna turn it down for you. So yeah, like I think that's one of the biggest things about tom play. And again, they have it for pretty much every instrument. So it doesn't really matter what you have, like flute, saxophone, they have it. I don't know if they necessarily have this piece, but I know it's like a fairly popular string piece, so don't worry about it. They probably have it for you. Play viola, if you play violin, you play cello, obviously, because we're playing cello, right? If you have the bass. So all of that goodness. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can go through the whole thing. And I'm gonna keep the tempo at 60, and then we're gonna play it at like at the regular tempo after we see what we need to work on, because just in case you don't play it perfectly all the way through, always start it at kind of like either 20 below, 50%. That's just me. And then kind of think about, okay, here's what I did good, here's what I did bad, and kind of work through it, and then you can play it at the regular tempo. So without further ado, didn't think so. Okay, yeah, not bad. Intonation as usual. But yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, other than intonation and me forgetting exactly what I was supposed to be doing, because this is kind of my first time playing it like this, I think I did pretty well. Um, so when you have gone through it at least like once or twice or a few times, you start kind of developing a little bit of musicality and kind of be like, I want to pull time here, I want to push time here, I want to crescendo, I want to be very soft. So, you know, that all comes with time. You don't have to play it exactly like me. You don't have to play it exactly like the cello accompaniment, but you know, you could do your own thing. So I think that's worth talking about. So uh, let's actually do it full speed, but we're gonna do it both of the with both me as the cellist and actually no, hold on. What I want to do is I want to okay, I want to play it at full tempo first. So yeah, we're gonna go back to this camera. Don't worry about it. I hope the balance is good. Uh, so that way I can have the stream clout. So we're gonna play it back at the regular tempo, and we're gonna pretend this is a concert. So everybody, please silence your cell phones. Oh, oops, my bad. See, and that's good. My bad. My bad. There was some other stuff too, but I think that was a pretty egregious. I don't know why I keep making my hand a little bit wide there. Okay, one more time. I know that's like the suggested tempo, but I really felt rushed. Like there were some places where I wanted to like hold time a little bit. Like I'll show you. There are some places where I really wanted to hold time because it's I think it's kind of nice, right? So like when you go like I wanted to a little bit hold time here, so kind of pull back a little bit. But like the accompaniment doesn't really let you do that. And maybe it's the tempo. Like at 60 I felt a lot more free with the tempo. And it's also this is one of the shortcomings of an accompaniment, right? Is that it doesn't move with you. It's set in stone. So you have to play with the accompaniment instead of the accompaniment playing with you. So I mean, if you can afford to like hire a pianist to just practice with you, or you have a sibling or a relative that can play piano and will practice piano with you, I mean, you are one of the very lucky few. But like for everybody else, myself included, this is actually really good. So you can hear the harmony and hear everything. The only drawback is that you just really, really can't do any. You can't do anything with the time. So sometimes that might trip you up a little bit because your brain is thinking like, I want to take time. Let me take time. And so your fingers kind of start slowing down in preparation for taking time, but then you're just like, wait, I can't take time. So it's just like I want to take time, but I can't. So in some places that's not really great, and I don't know if that's necessarily anything Tom Play would be able to fix, but it is what it is. I think despite that, it's still very nice, and always you can adjust the tempo. Like I felt a lot more free at 60, even though 80 is the standard like tempo. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it with the cello and the piano. I'm gonna play along with it just in case I'm gonna get copy struck. So we'll see how far off I am from the accompaniment. It'll probably be pretty gnarly. So I apologize in advance. All right. Keep doing that. Wait. Wait. Mhm. Oh, that's not what the cello is playing. Wait a minute. I got scammed. I thought that was weird. The cello is playing. I got scammed. I got scammed. Tom play. Wait a minute. Y'all made a mistake. I got scammed. I knew it was weird. It sounded weird. I was like, you know what? That's what's on the screen, so I guess it's right. Oh, I got scammed. I've been hoodwinked. I have been bamboozled and hoodwinked. How dare you? I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna report a miscalculation in the score. This is not correct. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a way to report that to Tom Play because that's not what the cello played. At least I think that's not. Yeah. Okay, well, I want another go at it because clearly I got scammed. I got scammed. Lord, I got scammed. Okay, so let's talk about the accompaniment real quick. Okay, hold on. We have to talk about it. Okay, so I will let you notice. I will tell you that even though I was playing and I could barely hear myself and the accompaniment at the same time, because it's hard to listen to two things at the same time. It's just hard. And I'm actually trying to listen to three things because I'm listening to the accompaniment too. But so the the recording is not doing the same bowings and it is not doing the same fingerings. Because if you noticed in the recording, they have vibrato on an open string. You can't do that unless you close the string. So uh, the accompaniment is doing something like different. I'm not really sure why that is, but that's kind of what it is. And the bowings obviously are different. I'm not really super concerned about that. I'm like, everybody's going to do the bowings the way they want to. The biggest thing, the biggest thing, this scam right here in measure 12 with this grace note, that's the scam. The scam. This right here in measure 22, the scam. I've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. That's not cool. I was like, man, this fingering like really I was like thinking in my head, like that really sucks. That's not optimal playing. But now that I know for sure that that's a mistake, I'm gonna report it. Tom Play will change it, hopefully, and everything will be fine. So when you get your free 14-day premium trial, you will have a good time. Me, on the other hand, I will not have a good time because I'm the one who found the mistake. So, yeah. Anyway, I want another try because I got scammed. So, you know, uh, that ending is always going to be sour for me. Like, it just plops. It just like, it just like plop. Anyway, that felt way better as a cellist. That felt way better. It sounded way better as a composer. Um, it felt better. It sounded better. Do not do. I forget everything I said about the grace note. With the E and the D, the E and D grace note. Such as the one found in measure 12 and in measure 22. Forget what I said. Play B, C sharp, B, and then it'll work out just fine. So Instead of this first D on the grace note, play B. Instead of the second grace note right here, play C sharp, and then the D that is the actual eighth note, play B. For both times, because it'll feel better, it'll sound better, it'll just be better. And also that's what the recording is doing. Anyway, that's it for me. I think I'm good. If anyone has any questions, now is a good time to ask them. If not, then thank you for attending our tutorial Tuesday. And be sure to check out Tomplay. It will really help me out. It will help out the channel. And yeah, just good things. Just good things. Again, I was not paid to promote Tomplay. However, if you click my affiliate link, which is pinned up there, you will be helping me out because they will give me a little bit of money. So anyway, thanks for joining me. You're awesome and amazing and beautiful, and I love you. Okay. Oh, don't forget, if you want me to do a specific tutorial, comment below like, hey, teach me about string can't talk. Hey, teach me about string crossings, or hey, teach me about how to do down bows, or hey, teach me about shifting, and da 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 da. Because I will break it down in absolute minute detail. I will break it down. I spend hours thinking about this stuff. I can break it down.